What is going on? Welcome to the Sync Producer Spotlight. My name is Jason Dowty. If you are watching this for the very first time, you have no idea what the Sync Producer Spotlight is. Basically, we are all part of a community called the Sync Producer Hub. It was created by Anthony Clint Jr. A few years ago. Even before that, he was teaching people how to get their music into TV shows and film. The reason it's called Sync is because you synchronize the music to the picture, right? So that's how it got its name. So every couple of weeks, we like to take somebody from the community and we put them in the spotlight, find out, when they joined the hub, when they got into music, what their journey's been like so far, if they've had any success, and then they can share their musical tips and things like that. Today we have Rich Rosen, who is probably one of the most consistent members that we have in the group, a longtime member. Every time I've been in the live, I think Rich has probably been in there as well, submitting music, consistently making music. Um, and I once had a music teacher tell me that, you know what, you don't choose music, music chooses you. And I have a feeling that music chose Rich. So he's coming in all the way from New Jersey. I have a New York hat. I don't have a New Jersey hat, but I did wear my New York hat because at least it's in close proximity. But let's go ahead and bring him on. What is going on,
Hello.
Rich?
Hey,
Hey,
your New York, your New York. I'm just noticing your New York hat is backwards, so I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It looks like some kind of Klingon baseball team, but that's okay. How you
yeah.
doing?
I am doing good. In real life, it's not backwards, but on when the camera flips you, yeah, that's
I
what
know, I know, you know how it goes.
All right, cool. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for hopping in.
Thanks for having me here.
And we have produced by Janie HB. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
Um,
me.
so let's start from the beginning. Let us know when you got into music. Like, what started you down your whole musical journey?
Oh God. Well, um, I grew up in Forest Hills in Queens, and you may be familiar with the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood in Queens, New York. Has a reputation as a music hub of its own. Simon and Garfunkel came out of there, Burt Bacharach, not to mention the Ramones. So it's got a pedigree of a music history. Um, Around age 8, we kind of inherited a piano in our house, and I took piano lessons from about age 8 to 12, so about 5 years total. I had a theory who really hammered ideas of music theory, scales, keys, chords. So not inadvertently, but because of that, I learned music theory things very early. So I didn't necessarily know the names. I didn't necessarily understand 1, 4, 5, but I did notice, like, oh, it's C, F, and G are the chords for this key, for C major. Okay, so I learned quite a bit from her. Um I wouldn't say she was strict, but she was like on the nose about things. She made me work almost exclusively classical music, and I learned pretty quickly that I had a good ear, and could pick out things. And I started picking out, themes from TV shows and movies. I think one of the earliest ones was the Bond film "You Only Live Twice." I'm giving away a little about my age, but I'm not giving you a number, so don't do that. Um, and after I stopped lessons, I didn't stop because I didn't like it. And I was like, going into my teen years and whatnot, there wasn't enough time in the week um, to focus on practicing, specifically for the music she was teaching me. So I went out on my own, picked out a lot of songs. I got involved in high school in productions, stage productions that were put on by the class. I became, what was the title they get? Musical coordinator, which basically meant I wrote arrangements for the band. I went to was it Manny's or Sam Ash, one of those music stores in the city, and I found a book, how to arrange, and I learned from the book how to write for trumpet and how to write uh, for other wind instruments, and I learned, like, oh, when you write for trumpet, you got to change the key. Trumpet is in a different key. So
Mhm.
learned a lot of things like that, and met some very cool people. I met, in particular, a drummer and some horn players who I became friends with. By the time senior year came around, um, we formed a band. I mean, they were already in some bands that they were playing out with that I wasn't a part of. But eventually, I said, let's do a band. So because we were a horn based band, um, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Tower of Power, and specifically Chicago, we took our name from another city. So we call ourselves Pittsburgh for no, for no particular reason, but it stuck. People knew about Pittsburgh. Um, I was not a performer in in a in a live outside band, so I had to buy an electric piano, a dinky little thing called an Insta piano, and an amp. Um, and we played out. We played at a school carnival. We played at some other things, some other events, school dances, and you know other things. So it was good. It was good. It was good experience, and most of the people that I played with, I'm still friends with, but haven't really played live with them in a long time, um, except in private. When we just sometimes get together in someone's basement and jam. We did that a few weeks ago, um, which was cool. So, time I hit college, I was really kind of unfocused. My first year was a mess. I won't go into that, but I studied communications, mass media, whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, I said, I want to take music theory classes. And everyone thought, well, wait, you're not a music major. Why do you, that's the music majors were telling me, wait, why do you want to take theory? No one wants to take theory. Ooh. But I did. And I learned a lot. Um, I squirmed my way into, there was an electronic music studio in the basement of the music department, and I literally got permission from the professor that ran that and took lessons from that, learned to program a Moog synthesizer, Buchla synthesizer, which some of you may have heard of. It's kind of a rare thing. Got the opportunity out of this to go to a workshop at Stanford University, um, with the department, the guy John Chowning, who created FM synthesis, which is the basis for the DX7 that everybody says changed. Um,
Mhm. Oh, I remember the DX7. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Well, all those Yamaha sounds
Mhm.
came out of, for a long time, came out of FM, frequency modulation. So it was very cool. I learned a lot, um, but eventually I was like, I'm not being a music major, and I'm not sure I want to be a communications major. I worked with my dad for a number of years. He was a audiovisual technician, so he brought me in and I worked with him. So I learned, tape recording, tape editing, all those primitive things that we don't do anymore, mostly. So
Yeah, that reminds me, we just had a post in the Sync Producer Hub. It's like, "I'm so old that."
yes.
And
Oh, I could have hit more stuff, I basically posted two old terminals that I worked with in my computer jobs.
Yeah.
But I could have posted a picture of the little block that you put a piece of tape in and you cut it, and that's how you spliced and edited tape. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sure people today are going, tape? What's that?
Tim Bird was talking about that. He said the reels were so big, you could use them to lift weights.
That's true. The big ones, if you were doing 8 or 16 and 24 track recording, Yeah,
Mhm.
those were huge, and the machines were huge. But everything's gotten smaller. So um, eventually, because I had a computer science major, I kind of landed in that and did pretty well in it. And I got a job at Bell Labs in New Jersey. Not the coolest part of Bell Labs, but a part that was lucrative for me. I was doing work on a variety of things. So I learned Unix. Clint was talking the other night about, oh yeah, Linux. I love Linux. I'm old. I'm so old. I remember when it was called Unix. I remember I learned it the very beginning. So shell programming and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I love that stuff. I love that stuff to this day. And when the Mac came out with a Linux like, what do you call it? Um, um,
Operating system?
underlying the underlying operating system. Yeah, I was right on top of it. I was already into the Mac. I love the Mac. So gradually, over time, I created a home studio. It consisted of, I'm looking, I made notes to remember, well, what did I do? A Tascam Porta Studio, one of the 4-track ones, the original ones, some Roland toys, a Pro One, which was the Prophet 5 reduced to one voice, a Dr. Rhythm. I'm sure some people remember the Dr. Rhythm.
My dad had one of those.
Oh, they were so
Yeah.
cool. I think I may have it in my garage, and
Yeah.
noticing what I see on Reverb, probably worth a couple of $100 because people love these old
Yep.
things. And gradually I got more stuff, got a better Mac. I got Mac music software. I got a Prophet 5, a Mirage sampler, rolling. I was building up a studio. Eventually, I got an even better one of the Tascam 8-track cassettes, which
Mhm.
they crammed 8 tracks on a normal cassette, which is crazy. And so I did a bunch of things there. One of the things I did to keep active musically, I started being Weird Al, which means I was doing song parodies for people at work when they left the department or left the company. I would write a song and do it and do a thing for them. There's a guy, in fact, I think he lives in Atlanta now. A guy I was a good friend, also a musician. His name was Ira Bartley, and we did a parody song called "You Got to Fight for Your Right to Bartley," and that's the kind of thing we were doing. Um,
Alright, you have to submit one of these parody songs one night.
I, I
One of these
don't
Friday nights.
I don't think that's I don't have too many of them anymore. They exist somewhere, but I think
Alright, well, you gotta write a new one.
I I might do that. So years went by, and eventually, towards the turn of the century, I guess,
Mhm.
I met my wife, um, who, by the way, is herself a musician. She's an opera singer and a voice teacher. So we have a real musical household, which is great. There's always music happening in the house. Sometimes the things I play, like on Spotify, she doesn't think qualify as music, but we turn it off and we put some of her music on. So it's because I moved in with her. She had an apartment uptown in Manhattan, so I had to give up a lot of the equipment that I had. So we put some of it in storage. I gave some of it away. Um, Eventually, we bought this house in New Jersey that we live in, and my stuff kind of came out of mothballs, which was good. But it still took me a while to get back into actively making music. Working took up most of mine. I was still working doing software engineer stuff,
Mhm.
whatever that means. But I did reconnect with some of those old band friends and started jamming with them. And once again, I had to buy a keyboard to work with them. And occasionally we get together. There's actually a guy, again, lives in Atlanta, um, invites us down. Um, to his place to get together and hang out and jam. And he's got a garage full of keyboards. It's I would call it the obsolete keyboard museum because it's a lot of old stuff, but also a lot of newer stuff. He's got a Hammond organ that is almost like a theremin. You can make the
Oh,
Leslify by using your hand. So pretty cool stuff. So
when with your friend in Atlanta, did you ever think about maybe visiting your friend and going to the Shades of Sync
you
conference
know,
sometime?
you know, I have thought about it. I didn't come last year. I'm I'll be honest, I've been having some mobility issues,
Sure.
so the idea of flying and walking around and doing stuff is still kind of, but I think this year, I think if I'm I'm in physical therapy now, so I'm working on my knees and getting stronger. So hopefully I'll be, able to make a trip down to Atlanta, see Shades of Sync, see my friend with the museum, and yeah, it's entirely possible. What I keep seeing about Shades of Sync is like it is such a great opportunity and such a great um, networking hub. So yeah,
Yeah. What got you into the hub? Like, when did you discover Clint's program and all of that?
see that's the thing. So got a bunch of stuff, kept getting better Macs over time, got
Mhm.
Logic Pro, didn't really know how to use it, had some friends who tried to like, "Ugh," and then I kept watching YouTube videos, and several of them were Clint's. And so I was watching him educate about Logic, and his stuff was really quite good. And then from that, I went to his channel and I learned about the hub, and I said, this should be a cool thing to join up with to connect with him and connect with other people. So that's when I joined. It was actually about a year ago
Mhm.
that I joined. So
Awesome. You brought up, like, mobility issues, and the
yeah.
cool thing about, being a home producer is, like, I plan on doing this until my eyes and ears don't work anymore. As long as I have, like, a finger that can move a mouse, you know what I mean? Like, you can do it as long as, you live for the most part.
You want your ears to work. I mean, Beethoven supposedly composed the whole Ninth Symphony when he was completely deaf. But
Mhm.
I think you I think you want to have your ears working. And the eyes, yes, you're right. You could probably do it with just your fingers and you could, but I don't, but I get you. I get the whole idea of work till you can't.
Yeah.
My wife feels the same way about her own career. Like um she's a bit younger than me. I'm not going to say how much younger than you. I'm not going to say how old I am, and how much I was robbing the cradle by marrying her. But she says, I could teach into my, whatever, and I'm sure she will. And she can sing also. You know, there'll be opportunities for her to sing, to record, whatever. We talk about collabing together on stuff, but it never works out. There's sometimes a real collision, like because she's an opera singer, it's hard to get her to fit into a pop music context. So I keep working towards that. And there's something she was on a piece, or we tried to put her on a piece called Coven Clave, which was used. She got an acting gig um, a few months ago, actually around Halloween. She was in Macbeth, which was which was cool. I saw that. I didn't see who said it, but someone said Stevie Wonder's done okay with.
Oh, it's Michael Connor, yeah.
Oh, Michael McConnor. Um, yeah, and Coven Clave was actually used in the witches scene in Macbeth. Actually, there's several witches scenes.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember Coven Clave. It's just a really spooky thing. And I tried to get Celia to work with me, but my ability to write the music so she could understand the rhythm. Wasn't there. I wasn't really able to do it right. So we'll try it again. We'll try. There are other things we'll do. She did another song with me called "You Got Me Running," which I did post, and yeah, we got to work on that too.
Clint
But
believes we're gonna make music with one finger, as long as we have a finger.
as long as it's the right finger,
There you go.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's get into your first piece of music, and then I have some follow-up questions on the hub and all of that.
Oh, sure, sure.
I've got 3 tracks here, Agave Azul, String
Yes.
Theory, and Stream of Unconsciousness. Which one would you like to do first?
Let's do Stream of Unconsciousness first.
Okay.
They're all the cool ones are about 3 minutes long, so I think
All right. Let's go. Stream of Unconsciousness. Everybody, let me know if this plays because I don't know. When I use anything that's not disco, sometimes it's a problem. But let's find out. All right, here we go. Oh wait, let me hold on. Let me make sure I'm gonna double check.
Okay,
Make sure I'm sharing the audio. Yeah, okay. It says I'm sharing the audio. All right,
okay,
cool.
okay.
All right, here we go. Stream of Unconsciousness.
Explain your motives, namely stream of archetypal ideas that goes on through the centuries. The approach is something which is really approachable.
That was a journey.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell us about that track?
Oh, I'll tell you a lot of things, but
Okay.
I'll keep it brief. It's old. It dates back to that UNESCO workshop that I did, that I tried to build on their computers. And in those days, writing computer music um, meant writing a program that would play music. Note number one, note number two, sustain, sustain. Use this sound. It was so manual. It was so tedious. But over time, obviously, computer music has gotten way advanced since then. My first attempts Oh, that's my wife in there. Hi,
Do you
hon. What was I going to say? Yeah, it, even when I tried to do certain things with it, it didn't work. First of all, one of the key things I needed was for that first note of every one of those the first note needed to hit harder, and accenting just that one note in everything was almost impossible in those days. So over time, I tried it with master tracks. I tried it with GarageBand. I tried it with a few things, but finally, once I understood the how tos of Logic Pro, I got it. I got it together, and there was a lot of work, and I finished it while I was in the hub. So we can thank the things I learned from everybody in the hub about using Logic and about mixing and about just record everything. Um, uh, so it has a long, old pedigree,
Yeah.
a long history, but it really didn't get realized until a few months ago. In fact, um, I remixed it even just the other day to get it right. And I'll mention one other thing. The voices in there. This is a if you're familiar with Carl Jung, the psychologist, and his ideas about the collective unconscious, that was kind of an inspiration, stream of unconsciousness, and
Mhm.
his ideas of the collective unconscious. So that's his voice. I actually found snippets of him talking, and he's saying that, I think I edited the first one and saying the stream of the unconscious mind archived through the centuries. And at the end, he says that the unconscious is really something that's unconscious. And I thought these were good quotes to put in there. I'm not sure if that's a problem. Like if I have to worry about that, get permission from the Young Society. I knew someone who works there, so uh, or drummer, the one I jam with. He's a psychologist, and he was a curator at the Young Society in New
Oh,
York. So he might be able to get me the clearance I need, but
that'd be awesome.
that would be, yeah. Or I could just take those things out. I mean, I think they add something to it, but are they critical to the piece? And thanks to everybody for all the compliments about the piece. It's something I'm definitely very proud of. I've been working to get that sound over the years.
Mhm.
Yes, it's old, but it's new. Every time I rework it, I find more things to adjust and add. So I, I'm very proud of it. So thank you all.
Awesome. Well, let me ask you this. The Sync Producer Hub, right? It's a community where we try to get our music into TV and film and all of that. Is that
Mhm.
like a big goal of yours, or are you just like, I just want to be part of the community and make my music and all of that? Like, or are you sending out your stuff to music libraries and all, following those steps?
The answer to all those orders is yes.
Okay.
I'm in the hub because I definitely want to submit music that will be well received by libraries and eventually music supervisors, and will make its way into film, TV, ads, etc. Um, am I honing myself for that goal wholeheartedly? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say um, I'm making music that I like to make. Obviously, this is a piece I've been working on long before I knew what synth music was. Um, and there's a lot of music in my head and also um, on my hard drive that fits into that category. So at the same time, I'm trying to learn. I'm learning from all the people in the hub the importance of fitting into the mold of what sync libraries, music libraries, and music supervisors want.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll be honest. When I first joined, I heard a lot of people, and there were a lot of um, orchestral hip hop and sports cues and um, and for a while I was like, am I in the right place? Because that's really not my jam. But I'll tell you, I've learned more, way more than I expected from listening to what people do in that space. And sometimes it's important to get out of your comfort zone. One of the
Mhm.
pieces I submitted a few weeks ago was called "Discomfort Zone" for that very reason. It was more of um, a hip hopish joint that was it needed work, but the idea is I learned so much from everybody in the hub. I'm very like I said at first I was like, am I in the right place? Is this where I need to be? And the more I came and the more I heard people do stuff, the better I felt about being here. And
Mhm.
um, Frime, for instance, is a person that I've in the beginning I was like, this is not really what I'm into this way. And then Frime kind of evolved with me to the point where I heard stuff from him that I was like, "Wow, you're really on point. You're really doing great."
Yeah.
And there's other people, same thing. So, um, to answer your question, like I said, all the ors you said, yes, yes. I want to um, submit for sync. Yes, I want to do stuff for myself. Um, and yes, there's a third yes, but now I don't remember what it is.
Submit, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a friend who's also doing stuff like this, and I don't know if he's really like pushing to do sync, but other friends. He's a guy who used to be in a band, but he lives. I don't even know where he lives now. I think he lives in Wisconsin now,
Mhm.
um, and he basically said to me, you know, just do what you want. Just do what feels good. Um, do what pleases you, and you'll be happy. So I believe that on the one hand, but at the same time, I haven't really responded to like briefs, and that's one of the next things I want to do is like um, get some briefs and try to write music to support that. For me, as a ex software engineer, that's like writing a program or a script or a system based on requirements.
Mhm.
And the truth is, back in the day, requirements as written for programming were stupid. I mean, they really
Mhm.
just didn't know um, how to do it right. And over time, people started doing it. This is agile. This is this. This is that. But that was the way things were done. If I came in and I said, "Oh, I found this new cool effect in HTML, and I just wrote this," and I showed it to my boss would say, "Well, aren't you supposed to write a database system that can be updated on the web?" I'm like, "Oh, was that what I was supposed to do?" It's the same thing. I want to. It's important that I learn by doing, the art of writing to a brief. So that'll start happening.
Your answer reminds me of a post that Nate put up recently in the hub that was about, when it can feel like routine or a grind if you're doing the same type of music over and over again, right? Or you're answering a brief that you already know how to do, that type of thing. Do you ever just like take a step back, fall in love with music again, and do that? And there's a quote by Quincy Jones that I just heard recently, where he said, "Follow the goosebumps." And I think
Mhm.
I think that's just great
Yeah.
advice to live by, right? You
Mhm.
you have to keep music fresh. You have to keep being inspired, and otherwise, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What's it for?
No, exactly. Um, if you're not liking what you're doing, like even when I was working as a software engineer, I would be like, well, okay, I need to do this system, the user interface and this, but I want to make it so I could use it, so that if I had to be the one to use it,
Mhm,
um, I could. And so, having that opinion of one's work um, applies to music as well. Would I want to listen to this? Yes, absolutely.
alright, so, let's get into your next one. What do you wanna let us know about? Do you wanna do string theory or agave azul
Let's
next?
do Agave Azul. That's another one.
Okay.
Um, that's another one. Actually, it's more recent. I don't remember exactly when I started it. Um, Celia could probably tell you. If she, I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's home or if she's, but she's somewhere where she's listening to this. What was I going to say? Yeah. Um, it's out of character. It's totally out of character. It's not. I've been doing a lot of noir stuff, detective-y kind of things. I've been
Mhm.
doing a lot of ethereal ambient stuff. I've tried doing some orchestral things. This is very different from that. This is like cowboy desert guitar, um, um, somber music. I
Okay.
can't. I'm not finding it. But basically, it's dual guitars. Um, it's when it started. I used some very old and very primitive, like stock Logic sounds, and I built it up, and I added some sound effects for stuff. I just like the piece. It's the kind of piece that I like composing. Um, it goes somewhere, then it goes somewhere else, and it's kind of cool. I once described it as, how did I describe it? If Ennio Morricone and Antonio Carlos Jobim were dying in the desert after a gunfight.
Okay.
Yeah. So and people say, yeah, it's kind of what it is. So
Alright, let's get right into it.
okay.
Agave azul. Here we go. You know what I love about sync music is that, you can get so like, it's so specific. Like,
Mhm.
that is definitely what you said, like a desert scene, 2 cowboys, somber, like, all of the things that you said was like, it's just amazing how the music itself can tell a story and set a scene. So it's really good work. Great job.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been working on that for a while. I think Celia even mentioned, um, it's not new. She heard it when I first tried it out, and it was, the sound was not necessarily perfect, um, but over time, um, I picked the right sounds for the guitar. I've got the right balance. I got, you know, but it took work.
Yeah.
It took work to get it exactly where I wanted, and I think it's there now. Yes, thank you all for the thoughts. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No worries, no worries.
Mhm.
So have you, since you've been in the hub, like, what's your next plans? Like, have you submitted to some music libraries? Have you, tried it out, or what are your
I'm
thoughts?
I'm laughing because plans. Mhm. What's the joke? You want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans. Um, I'm gonna say that, to be honest, I haven't submitted anything yet. Partially, it's because I'm trying to get all the ducks in a row in the technology, not the actual recording technology, but the submission. Thank you, Michael. The submission chain, the um, disco, putting it all on disco, making an album out of it. I'm
Mhm,
still leery. I'm still not understanding how you can do things, and I'm seeing people say, "Oh, okay, so you can submit a track and then put alternate things on it, like, okay, this is the instrumental, this is the 30-second version, this is the 1 minute version, this is the one with the weird vocal," and then I have ideas for. I'm calling them albums. I don't know if they're really albums. They're playlists.
mhm,
Um, Very much genre specific. So there's one that I'm going to call Sublime Light, and it's all ethereal, kind of ambient things.
mhm,
Stream of Unconsciousness will be in that. Maybe Agave Azul will also. Um, There'll be another one that's electronic, and I can't remember what I was going to call that, but I submitted something called Disoriented Express, which is kind of um, Euro disco, Donna Summer, I Feel Love, Giorgio Moroder kind of sound.
mhm,
So songs like that. There'll be another one for noir, film noir kinds of sounds. And there'll be another one, I think I mentioned this in the hub a few times, called Minutia, which is just things, variety of genres that are a minute long.
mm,
So if someone says, I need something for a 1 minute ad, but I don't know what I want it to sound like, they can go through that, see the titles, and say, okay, we'll try that. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of um, I'll call it planning. I'm definitely planning. Thank you, Salters. Yes, I want
mhm,
to set up a plan that really would work um, in the long term. So what I think my plan is, go to Disco, set up these playlist albums, submit some of them to DistroKid, have them put on whatever platforms are still there. Although Spotify, I don't know the
mhm.
fairness of it, but Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, etc. Maybe even put it on Bandcamp, and just have those things out there. I think my realization is that excludes them from being exclusive. If I wanted to submit them for sync, but that's okay for me. I think
Okay.
um, let me own the things that I'm working on now. And when I'm better situated and I'm more in the groove about doing things, and I don't necessarily care if I don't own the path for those songs. That may change, but I think for the most part, I'm going to just take this path that I'm describing. This what is that? Distro Kid. I get confused. The name
Yeah.
Disco Kid sounds like a movie from the 70s. Uh, yeah, and then Bandcamp, and then whatever, and then use social media to promote, and we'll see. Again, my friend's idea that do what you like. You may not make a lot of money. You may get a lot of exposure. You may get a little exposure, but whatever, do it with music that you like, that you're proud to have done, that you enjoyed doing, and having that satisfaction is the most important thing.
Awesome. Well, we have one more track to play, String Theory. What would you like to let us know about that?
Oh God, I didn't think we were going to have time for string theory. Well, that's a minute long.
Oh,
That's
yeah, we got a
that
minute.
that you got a minute. I wrote a song called New York Minute, but I changed the name to New Jersey Minute. That's in this minutia playlist. Now, string theory is a few years old. I've tweaked it a bit over time, but it's I submitted it to the Hub. I think it was one of the first things I submitted to the Hub, and I think people were scared of it. It's like, what's all this weird dissonance? I'm like, no, that's supposed to be there. That's supposed to be there. I discovered tremolo strings going in the opposite direction, and another fiddle on top of that, and just some weird sound, and then it built up into something, and I cut it off at a minute. And is it tonal, polytonal? I don't know what key it's in, and I'm sure Claude doesn't know what key it's in.
I bet Michael Connor will know.
No, he won't. He will, but I mean, there's three things going on. There's one set of scalar things in G, and then A minor, and then just some chords that are going. I don't know. I'll be curious as to what key you think it's in, Michael. So anyway, that's what again. It's basically I discovered the tremolo string sound in Logic, maybe even GarageBand. Might go back that far, but I discovered that sound and just made this kind of dissonant thing and laid things on top of it, and then take a listen.
All right, let's go. String Theory. Let's go. I'm curious if Michael Connor knows what key that's in. And I'm going to answer your wife's question real quick. She says, has the Hub covered this piece of the process? Has there been a night devoted to helping people understand the process and organize themselves for submissions? Let me share my screen real quick. So we do have this course. Clint has this course. Let's see if I can share it real quick. Called Road to 10 Placements. It's right there in the middle. It walks you through exactly what to do. So you can basically what's worked for me. It's a little bit different than what you were saying. I create my disco playlist, which is disco is like a platform where if you're trying to get your music into TV and film, it's kind of the industry standard. So most
Yes.
music libraries and
Mhm.
all of them, they use that one. You don't need to have versions up front. You just need the full mix versions. You do
Mhm.
want to have it, mastered and that type of thing. But you send that in, and then if it gets accepted, if they want to sign you, they'll send you the deal. You decide if you want the deal or not, and if you do take the deal, they normally ask you for deliverables, and that's when you get into the no vocals version, or just ambient, or no drums or no melodies, all those 30-second, 15-second, whatever versions that you need. So I hope that helps anybody else out there that might be asking the same question as well. All right.
I think Celia kind of knew that, but I think she wanted to hear it from an insider what it is we're doing in the hub.
Yeah. I'm sure you talk about it all the time, so.
We do.
We never really have a night dedicated to it because we've got that course. I mean, if you follow
Yeah,
that course from
yeah.
beginning to end, you got it down. So C, B flat, A flat, G melody. So at least name the notes.
That's true. Well, no surprise. But on top of that, I think. Um, you see, there he goes. He got it. The top line was some other. If I
Yeah.
remember the original patches I used, it was like a fiddle type violin.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I I didn't mean to unnerve you, Michael, but thank you. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, sharing your music. Is there any parting words or anything else you'd like to let the hub know, or anything on your mind?
Gee, I think if I were to close with some parting words, we talk a lot in the hub about gear acquisition syndrome and
Mhm.
plug-in acquisition syndrome, and how we sometimes get greedy and not just greedy, but just hungry. And look, a free plugin, it does everything the plugin that I already have does, but it does it upside down. And like, well, you could use that plugin and then use the upside down knob on that plugin, and not waste your money on another plugin. I'm trying very, very hard to minimize what plugins I use, to only use the best ones. I'm trying not to spend a lot of money, um, and not just not spend a lot of money, not take up so much disk space. When I bought a new Mac to start working on this, I it had it's a MacBook with a terabyte of disk, and I'm like, that should be enough. There's no way I'm going to fill that up. Look, Jason, you're you're smirking at the whole idea. No, I really I have like 2 megabytes left. It's like nothing left. So I'm trying to move a lot of it off onto a separate drive. I'm trying to get rid of the crap. There are Logic projects that, why did I? Mhm. I'm trying to read Michael's comment, because
Oh.
yeah, he always has something interesting to say. Um,
Oh, sorry. Here, I'll bring it back up.
yeah, bring it back, because
Yeah, there you
I
go.
I thought he was saying John Williams, and I'm like,
Oh, right.
I'm gonna be honest. I love soundtrack music. I have really like leaned into it,
Mhm.
but John Williams he's a lot of people's favorite. He's not one of my favorites. Um, there's a lot of talk about, oh well, he stole that from Stravinsky and he stole that from Holst, and I'm like, yeah, but the what's the maxim? Genie. I think Picasso said, "Mediocrity borrows, genius steals."
Mhm.
And it turns out Picasso stole that from Stravinsky. So it only goes to show you. I think May have gotten that backwards, but it doesn't matter. Um, the soundtrack people I really like, um, Bernard I'm gonna try to pronounce his name like it's supposed to be, Bernard Herrmann. He's the guy behind all the great Hitchcock movies, not just Psycho, but Vertigo. Um, he also did the theme from Taxi Driver. He also did the theme from Day the Earth Stood Still, which used a theremin for the first times in movies. Love him. I love oh, Thomas Newman, part of the new. Yeah, you're right, Michael. He's in the Newman clan, which is a famous Alfred Newman, not Alfred E. Newman, but Alfred Newman. And Randy Newman is in that family, but Thomas Newman did Shawshank. He did he did a movie called Road to Perdition, which is just beautiful. I just love the way he does stuff. But there's other people I'm getting into also in soundtracks. Max Richter did a lot of the Black Mirror stuff. Terrence Blanchard is like, who did he was like a disciple of I'm losing his name. I can't think of his name. The two brothers, a trumpet player and a sax player, and I can't think of his name. I lose names so readily. But Blanchard is great. He did the soundtrack for a movie called Inside Man, which is just golden. Philip Glass, Vangelis. So I'm really I have a sound that I'm looking for. In certain modes, and in the soundtrack mode, I'm really I agree. I'm liking some of the best people, and the important thing is don't copy them. Don't be too much like them. Just be inspired by what they do and do it your own way. So I noticed someone yesterday said that they're in a scoring for film class. I keep looking at those and not getting into them, but I think I will.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go there. I have gone so far afield from your original question that I don't even
It's
remember
all
what it
good.
was. I don't even remember what it was.
It's okay. It was just parting words.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time. We appreciate you in the hub, obviously.
Well,
I
thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
let anybody know who's watching this. If you're interested in getting your music into TV and film, the hub is the place to be. We have a community of people that are killing it in sync. We're getting our music placed in, all of these different TV shows, and movies and everything. So if you're interested in that, there is a link in the description. So check it out. Um, Thank you so much for your time, Rich. I will see you around the hub, and I'll
Yes, you
see you
will.
in the next live.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Jason, for having me here. This has been a pleasure, and thanks to all the people who watched and commented and liked my music. It's good to